Welcome on in. It's another edition of Clap Your Hands. Eliot, Shorr-Parks, Jack Fritz. As we,
what's up?
They sure have been beating up on
been a
some
while.
terrible basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been tough. They are playing just awful basketball teams
and
right
it's
now.
fun. It's fun because they're winning big. They're winning comfortable. You can kind of stop watching with like 8 minutes to go.
I turned off the Wizards game with like 8 minutes left.
But it would be nice to get a compelling game.
Yeah, of course.
Like we were talking about, what do we want to talk about on the pod? It's like, I don't know, man. They beat like the Wizards twice, the Pistons. The Pistons are god awful.
Dude, again.
I'm out on Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
Yeah. You miss that big on a pick like that in a rebuild. It's tough.
Well, dude, their whole team is top 5 picks.
Yeah,
I mean, Marvin
none
Bagley,
of them are special.
So
eye test last night. I don't think anything.
Well, and Jaden Ivey, like he's okay driver, but like every time he shoots, it's like it's not even close.
I agree. He had one nice drive that I do remember.
I was like the one driving, and I was like, man, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he took off, I think, like the free throw line. I was like, that's kind of athletic.
Yeah, but like think about it. So they have Ivy, they have Cunningham, they have Asar Thompson, who I actually think is going to be good, but not there.
Right.
They traded for Marvin Bagley or signed Marvin Bagley.
Dude, Marvin Bagley is like every year. It's not even every year. Every time I hear his name, I feel like he's on a different team.
Boy, because he mostly is. I could not believe the fact that they took him over Doncic is like both the Suns too, Ayton and the.
Do you remember? You actually probably don't remember this, but remember VH1, the music video thing where they would play it and then they would pop up a little fact throughout.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be good for this pod where it's like, and it feels like Marvin Bagley's on a new team every time, and it's like has only ever played for the Kings.
Well, yeah, no, it's like the community notes on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how false this is.
Yeah,
no, I think he's just
be a good bit for the video version of this.
Pistons and
James,
Kings. He's probably
on
writing that up right now.
Yeah.
No, but like the Pistons, and then they also traded James Wiseman, who's the number 2 overall pick.
Dude, talk about another bust.
I mean, imagine if the Wizards or Warriors would have gotten that one right. I mean, the Warriors are cooked right now.
Yeah. What do you think of the Draymond thing?
I mean.
Dude, he definitely did that intentionally.
Of course. Well,
the way he swung his arm, there is no way that was an accident.
I just don't think he could. I don't think he can control it. I think he just has these outbursts of aggression or whatever. And it's just like he can't help himself.
Well, what's crazy is he's allowed to practice, but it's like he hit someone in practice too.
Jordan Poole. Now watching Jordan Poole on the Wizards, I'm like, kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Who was it? I think it was Kevin Garnett recently was flaming him because he like blew his nose on a towel and threw it at a ball boy or something like that.
Yeah.
Just
well, and he's suspended indefinitely, which is crazy. So
I don't think it'll be that long. My guess it'll be like 15 games.
Well, I guess they're gonna have to. Draymond wants to be suspended, which is weird.
Does he?
Woj was on Sportsradio this morning talking about it. But either way, yeah, Pistons 21 straight losses. Where's Adam Silver?
That's a good point. Yeah, where's Hinkie with this?
Well, because they have a bunch of like bad top 5 picks, and then their process doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're a ways away. So what do they only have 2 wins?
They're 2-21. They started season 2-1.
With the process, Sixers beat them.
Well, the process Sixers had heart.
Yeah, it's true. They did. Yeah.
Tony
Roten, TJ McConnell. Better coach, too.
Yeah, way better coach.
Yeah.
I mean, Monty Williams, 70. Is there a major city in America you would like to live in less than Detroit? I feel like Detroit is like.
So, I mean, Cleveland.
I know, but I don't know. Detroit is. It
so
just seems.
You are right. The only thing I'll
miserable.
say about Detroit is like.
You've been to right.
I've been
right?
to Detroit. Yeah.
You've been to Cleveland.
Yes.
Have you? When they
I've
play
been
there?
to pretty much every major. I mean, I have because
No
the
big
Eagles
deal.
go there. No big deal to me. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. So they played there in 2020, right?
Detroit, you're talking about?
No, Cleveland.
Well,
the
they
Eagles.
did training camp there last year.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they played there in it wasn't 2020.
Do you remember the 2020 game?
I wasn't there for that.
I know,
that was
because no
COVID.
one was there.
Yeah.
But do you remember the game?
Yeah, with the rain and
It was
Carson
raining.
threw that.
Talkie!
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
It's intercepted.
Yeah. Merrill, it was.
It was so.
Yeah.
It was the favorite Merrill game ever.
Yeah.
I think Miles Sanders fumbled on the first drive.
Yeah, it was an ugly one.
It was ugly. Go Sixers.
I mean, Green Bay. Yeah. Clap your hands. Green Bay would be tough.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, Green Bay's not really a major city. It's like
fair.
it's like Westchester.
So I think the one city that's most comparable to Philadelphia in the country is Chicago. Like if you told me I had to live somewhere else and work in another city with what I do now, I would pick Chicago.
I'd probably pick Boston.
I just think I don't know, man. I'm not as in on Boston. Like Chicago, I think has more personality than Boston.
I love Chicago. My bachelor party's in Chicago. And
How was it?
It was great. That we went to the Cubs game.
That's up your alley.
Some great.
I've always
birds.
wanted to go to Wrigley Field.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe you.
Yeah, it's true. I like say I want to go,
Yeah,
but like I wouldn't like go out of my way to do it.
If I know one thing about you, I think if I could have one take on Eliot,
Yeah.
hates old things.
Well, yeah, definitely.
And Wrigley Field is the staple of.
But it doesn't really qualify as old. Like I think if Camden Yards is old, I think
Camden Yards is built in the 90s.
Oh, well, it seems older to me.
Like Wrigley Field was built in 1908, I believe.
That'd be another little pop-up. Like it's actually was built right around Citizens Bank Park. But wasn't it called Camden Yards before? No.
No.
Okay.
I think there was they had an older stadium.
All right, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Hand up.
No, but Wrigley, I do appreciate that you at least said on the podcast, and we can cut the audio. I want to go to Wrigley.
I would, yeah. I think I'd rather go there over Fenway.
Well, listen, we'll take as you're a newly formed baseball guy.
Yeah,
and
I
I love your opinions on baseball.
I know you do. Yeah.
We can make that happen. You can go to Ted Williams' seat where he had the longest home run in team history.
Nah, that's all right. But so I was in Dallas this past weekend for Eagles Cowboys. Don't know if you know, but I was on the Dallas radio station when the Ohtani news broke.
Yeah,
and they asked me for my take on it. Live
really?
On air.
What was your take?
Overpay because he might never pitch again.
Well, he's gonna pitch again.
Well, he just had Tommy John.
Yeah, but he's gonna.
I'm just saying you're paying a lot of money for a pitcher that just had a major injury.
He's a pitcher and hitter. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, he does both. But you're paying for both. Is my point.
How was Dallas? Was it all right?
I got to be honest, and I feel like this is a safe space to say this.
Because your other podcast host
yeah,
probably would not be able to handle it.
Yeah. I get the whole like being a Cowboys thing. I think it seems kind of awesome. Like Dallas is dope. They love football there. Like the Cowboys are a massive deal across the whole state. Like I don't know, man. The Cowboys stadium's awesome. Like
well, that's because it's the dome.
Yeah. James is in on the dome now.
No, he's not.
He told me he was.
He's not allowed.
Okay. I'm always right eventually. It just takes time.
Well, you're right. I would say everyone's always right eventually or for a period of time.
Agreed. You only have to be right for like a week.
Like currently I'm right about the Eagles.
Nah, well, all right. Like, we don't have to get too deep.
But currently I'm having a moment, and you know that. Everyone knows that.
All right. You're taking a victory lap too early on the Eagles. Just throwing that out there.
We'll see.
Right.
So speaking of victory laps, Sixers.
Yeah. Speaking of a winning organization.
Exactly. I want to run something by you because it feels like this has been almost like not bubbling under the surface, but it's kind of been a talking point amongst Sixers fans and Philadelphia sports fans for the last like week.
Right.
And it's appreciating Joel Embiid. And I'm being honest.
I know. I know I can tell via the text. By the way, actually, sorry, go ahead.
What?
No, I don't want to ruin it, but I thought your comparison to Reggie White was perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm having a tough time like really appreciating this, and I want to appreciate it. Like I'm trying not to take for granted that we're watching true greatness.
Yeah.
And one of the most talented players who ever suit up in the NBA.
Yeah.
I'm just having a tough time sitting there and being like, wow.
Well, I think this is why. I think that based off our conversations and text, I think you're still a do it in the playoffs guy.
I am.
And
it's hard for me to shake that.
So,
I wish I could shake it, honestly.
I'll be honest. I was a big do it in the playoffs guy with Embiid for probably like a year and a half, 2 years.
When did you stop?
I moved on about halfway through last year, and it was the best thing ever.
You felt freeing?
It's freeing, yeah. It's why I was able to enjoy his MVP. And by the way, he's probably going to win it again this year.
He very well could.
And
well, first of all, he's been better this year than last year.
Should he get most improved player?
No, stop. Can you just stop?
Why not? Who's improved more this year than Joel? He's averaging 3 more points. He's a way better passer.
Tyrese Halliburton.
All right, fair. Okay.
But no, I just like I guess my thing is I've seen this.
But no, you haven't seen this though. I think that's the difference.
Seen pretty much.
So I think a difference to me. So last night was a perfect example. He has 19 points in the first quarter. I think Joel has been a much better tone setter this year. I think in past years, like Joel we've talked about it, like went as the team went. I think this year Joel is carrying the team with him. Like it's a random game against Detroit on a Tuesday night.
By the way, to strengthen your Jokic argument, and because I did to help you out,
another game he got thrown out.
Well, he got thrown out in Detroit because I don't think he felt like playing. So
yeah,
Embiid felt like being there.
He's not a winner. I don't care that he has a title. He's not a winner.
Good.
You can't win with him as your best player. I'm convinced of that. But
no, he just did.
They got the most fake ring ever. All right,
yeah.
whatever. But but what I was thinking about Joel is this year I think you're seeing with Joel. Like this is a small thing, but it meant a lot to me when I saw it. So last night was
when you said that so deeply, it meant so much.
It did because
a game on a Tuesday night.
No, that's not what I'm going to say. So there was so apparently it's Batum and Covington's birthday, which is wild. It's on the same day, same team. Pretty crazy. But they showed a clip of the plane, and like they're all singing happy birthday. And Joel's sitting at a table with Maxey, Tobias, and someone else, like hanging out and playing cards. And I just think Joel this year, on the court and off the court, has decided he's going to be a true leader of the team and like be the main force of the team. And I think you're seeing that with how he starts games. Like he comes out and he dominates from the jump. And then, 19 points, like he puts the game away early. Like this isn't something where I think sometimes he's come out like lackadaisical, especially to start seasons. He's coming out and he's been like either out of shape or he just takes a while. He looks disinterested. He just looks like he is on a mission this season. And so to come out and score 19 against Detroit was impressive. But then like to be also like hanging out with his teammates on the plane and stuff, it seems like a different Embiid this year. So I don't think when you're saying like we've seen it before, I don't think you've seen this before.
So I agree mentality wise. The fact that I believe he sat 7 fourth quarters this year.
Which is wild.
And that also shows two things. A difference between Doc Rivers and Nick Nurse.
Yeah.
Because
Doc would love this, by the way. Doc would be like the earned nights off thing.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Earned what is it called?
Schedule loss?
No. Player management. Earned whatever it's called. Yeah.
Load management?
Yeah. Earned load management.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah.
No, but like Doc, there's a lot of games last year where they'd be up by like 20 heading into the fourth.
Yeah.
And they'd be back in the game somehow.
Agreed.
And also the depth. I mean, the fact that they're able to hold leads when Embiid. What has killed the Sixers a lot the last couple of years is that when Embiid would be off the floor,
they crater.
They would crater.
Which is crazy because the backup centers aren't that good this year. Paul Reed is better than I thought. I do like the new haircut on him. It looks good. But like
he made some it's always so funny watching him around the rim trying to because I'm always surprised they go in.
What's crazy is his shooting percentage around the rim is wild.
I know.
Like he has a very high one. But I think
it's like when Nerlens used to try to
I know.
have touch around the rim.
Nerlens?
I love Nerlens.
Yeah, I was in on Nerlens. But like Morris has been better. Like regardless, the backup centers aren't that great, but I think they're just better overall with their depth. And so Embiid can sit out because they have like guys 8 through like 11 or whatever you want to say that are more competent than in past years.
Yeah.
So the lead doesn't crater like it used to.
Totally. And yeah, I think Embiid has definitely taken up the leadership stuff, and he's just coming out being like, I'm gonna dominate this basketball game, and I think that's important. Now, again, here's the
I have a question for
Wizards
you because this is what you've been do it in the playoffs or whatever. Like,
but by not saying do it in the playoffs, then you're lowering the standard. And as we know, the standard is the standard. But it's always rising. I
just like what I think when I watch him is it's such a shame we have to wait like 4 or 5 months for the playoffs.
I know.
Because he's so good and healthy right now. Like this would be his moment to have his tear. And waiting is just like, I enjoy it, like watching it, and there'll be trade rumors and like it'll be a fun regular season. But man, I just can't wait to see it. If they get this Embiid in the playoffs, like he's going to have his legacy run because the East is open. Like I know the Bucks have been better recently, but like the Magic are in 4th place or whatever, 3rd. Like the Magic aren't real. Like the Sixers would smoke the Magic in the playoffs.
I love that Magic team. I'm not in the series right,
exactly.
I like watching the Magic.
Yeah,
they're not dreadful anymore.
Like the Sixers would smoke them. So
and Pacers.
The Pacers, I'm in on the Pacers.
I think they are plus 5,000 to win the East. By the way,
the Pacers, I like that.
They might be going down.
I like that. Yeah. Plus 5,000 is a good bet, though.
Well, I still have it.
Did you see this whole thing with Giannis and the basketball?
It was so funny.
So I'm not completely sure what happened. So Giannis.
So what happened is that Giannis scored 64 points. He set a franchise record. He set a franchise record. He won the basketball. There was a Bucks assistant after the game. The Pacers went out to the Bucks assistant that had the game ball and said, "Can we have that game ball
for someone that scored his first basket?"
His first basket, which is a free throw, barely counts. Would you?
I agree with that. Actually,
would you want your first basket to be a free throw?
I agree with that. Now the question is, what's more important?
It's like Johan Rojas' first home run was off a pitcher.
Yeah. I think that counts way more than a free throw.
I agree.
First basket. Does first basket when you bet it count as a free throw? It must.
Sure. Yeah.
So. I agree. I don't think that counts as a legit first basket.
So then Giannis sprinted into the locker room to go.
Was that? I saw the clip of him running. That's what he was running for.
He was going to the locker room to try to get it out. And then it was so funny. The Pacers head coach, after his press conference, is like, "Yeah, our GM got elbowed in the ribs, bruised ribs." As someone that's
currently dealing with it, yeah, you were okay with that. You were like, I could feel that pain. Yes. So they suspend Giannis for a violent act.
No, Giannis did not. They didn't say he did it, but a Bucks player allegedly elbowed him in the ribs. And then he came back and started yelling at all the players. Yeah,
I do think first basket more special than franchise record for points. If it was a legit first basket. if like it was a layup or whatever.
Dude, franchise record is way more.
It's his first basket. Like there'll be other games where 64 points are scored. You're only ever going to get your
for the
first
Bucks
basket.
franchise.
Now I do think Giannis is more important than this guy.
That's a big take. I would say so. I got a quick gambling take that I want to run by you that I haven't brought up on the podcast yet. As someone who bets exclusively points and 3-pointers,
Right.
I think if you get fouled on a 3-point shot and make all 3 baskets, it should count as a made 3.
I agree with that.
Like, I need that.
I agree with that.
I would win so many more bets.
I think that's a good take.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I also think actually, never mind. Taking it back.
Okay. No, but the Giannis thing, and then I don't know. After the game, he's like, "They gave me a basketball. I didn't know if it was the right basketball."
Yeah, I saw that.
It didn't feel like a game basketball. It's like, this is the most ridiculous.
Yeah. Giannis finds himself in so many of these weird things, like with the ladder last year with Montrez. Like, it was.
He gets into weird things, but whatever. Yeah.
So here's my question for you about Embiid.
Okay.
Where is he? Like, he's obviously the best Sixer of all time, but where is? By the way, I was looking this up last night. So you know how he's third all time in points per game, like average? Dude, the fact Wilt needed 45 minutes to score 31 points when he was playing against like me and you is embarrassing. Yeah. Wilt's got to be the most overrated athlete of all time.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, I know you agree. But...
All he did is lose. Like, he's the most dominant quote-unquote player of all time. All he did is lose.
Right.
He won one real title. With the Lakers, he was like a backup. Dude, I can't do the Wilt stuff. Like,
anyway,
he's obviously overrated. But Embiid did tie him yesterday. He's getting close.
Well, he's ahead of him now. But also, if you look, Embiid has I think it's like 31 points or something like that he averages. But he's doing it in considerably fewer minutes than Jordan or Wilt. Like, there's a real argument for Embiid being the best scorer of all time.
I know. I saw your tweet.
You like that?
Lay out your case. Why?
Because he averages. All right, let me pull up the list. This way we'll back it up with stats. Hold on.
People love stats.
I know. Well, you know who doesn't like stats?
James Seltzer.
James Seltzer does not like stats. Here's my thing with stats. When people are like, watch the games. It's like, I get that, but the stats come from the game.
Well, I only like using stats that back up what I saw in the game.
Well, obviously. All right, so Michael Jordan, 30.1 points, 38 minutes.
Tougher league.
Yeah. Wilt, 30.1 points in a truly embarrassing 45.8 minutes. How long were the games back then? Dude. He played like every... All right.
He pretty much played every minute.
That's another reason it wasn't that hard. Okay. Embiid, 27 points, 27.5 points in 31.9 minutes. So 8 minutes fewer than Jordan, 14 minutes fewer than Wilt Chamberlain. Elgin Baylor, 40 points. Also kind of another fake player.
Your boy, Elgin Baylor.
Yeah. So my argument for Embiid being the best scorer of all time is he's averaging basically the most points ever in considerably fewer minutes. Like, I don't know what the argument for anybody else would be.
Well, you're GM.
And if you look at the attempts, he's shooting 18 times a game. Wilt, obviously a ton, 4 more times. And Jordan was 5 more times.
So I think a lot of the problem with that stuff is, like, I would like to see what it's like 8-year peaks. You know what I mean? So, like, I think a lot of their points per game gets drugged down.
I get what you're saying. Because Jordan's like, although he averaged like 23 or 24 with the Wizards, I think.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's a fair point. Yeah, but then to be fair, you also have Embiid's rookie year in there.
I mean, like,
he played like 30 games or whatever.
He was scoring in those games.
True.
Was he not?
I to your point, I would be okay if you took like the 5 year.
Give me the 8-year peaks of Embiid, Harden, Kobe, Jordan.
Right.
And
do you think Embiid's a better scorer than Harden and Kobe? I don't think he's a better scorer than Harden.
I don't think he's a better scorer than Kobe.
I mean,
it's
Kobe
easier,
couldn't shoot.
but it's easy for Joel. But
that's because he's so good.
No, it's not.
It's because he's big.
It's because he's big.
Well, whatever. What about Wilt?
Well,
I know.
Wilt didn't play against anyone.
Right. But I don't think Embiid should be, and this is so funny because for years I said I didn't like Embiid because he was a center. But Embiid shouldn't be penalized for his height.
Yeah, but it matters when you're talking about like best scorers of all time. I mean,
but it also, it's harder to score when you're bigger when you consider like.
But it's not when he does have. All right, so Embiid has a ton of skill.
Yes.
He can
soft
shoot. Touch. He can do everything.
I mean, he shoots a lot from the mid range.
But dude, like, who's the best defensive center in basketball right now? Like, no one can, like, you can't.
I don't know. That guy on Memphis everyone loves.
Gobert
Jackson
probably.
Or whatever. Yeah, but Gobert blows. Like, I mean, he's like not a real player.
But like, it's easy when like he's going off against Isaiah Stewart last night. He's going off against Daniel Gafford.
This is like the whole like MJ played against trash too.
No, but MJ's like there's
every game was against Gary Payton.
No. But like, it's easier to throw a bunch of like 6'7" guys at Jordan and try to stop him.
But I think physically it's harder for
can't
Embiid.
throw any. Who can you throw at Embiid to stop him? He's just gonna foul them out.
But well, again, that's a skill. But also,
I agree with the skill.
yeah,
We're some of the best scorers
but
of all
Embiid,
time.
it's also harder, like physically, to play as many, like to get your body going for all those games. So I think, like Jordan, it's easier to beat Jordan's body than it is Joel's.
I don't know, but there's a lot of wear and tear being smaller.
There's a lot of wear and tear being bigger.
Nah, but
You get a doctor on the show.
yeah, true. which is tougher?
yeah.
I mean,
which body has more wear and tear, big or smaller?
Do you think Iverson's a better scorer than Embiid?
Dude, I love Iverson with all my heart. He is my favorite athlete of all time. I don't know if I've said this on the pod. I think I might need to accept the fact, like, he's a little overrated. And I love him with all my heart. He's my hero. Like, I had all the shoes, jerseys.
He's gonna
like,
quit the podcast.
Like,
he's gonna
dude,
quit the
again,
podcast.
I love Iverson. Like, but if you look, like, the stats are not impressive. Like, he shot a ton at a low percentage. Like, he barely had one playoff run. And again,
sounds like you're building an Embiid case against.
I mean, Embiid
Iverson.
is, look, he'll never pass Iverson in my heart. But Embiid is the best Sixer of all time. I frankly don't even think it's close. Who else would you even say? Dr. J? Like,
No,
all right,
never.
whatever.
I would never say Dr. J.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Charles Barkley. No,
Charles is his son.
Embiid's the most talented Sixer of all time.
So how many athletes, this is what I've been meaning to ask you. How many athletes in Philly history have we seen play as good right now as Embiid is?
So all sports?
Yeah, like all
Well,
sports.
so that's why I brought up. That's why.
By the way, a quick story. So you'll appreciate this, James, because you were here for this. So before this old version of Clap Your Hands, when we still had another co-host, Kyle Newbeck,
Yes.
I asked him who the most dominant season he'd ever seen as a Philly athlete. Guess who he said?
Most.
You remember this?
The most like all sports.
Yeah, all sports. Most dominant season he's ever seen.
I guess.
I do believe he tried to go like outside of the box.
Yeah, well, no, don't give too many
I'm
hints.
not gonna give it away, but
04 TO.
He said like 98 Eric Lindros.
Oh, stop.
He had like 16.
and it was
goals.
like that was like the first thing he thought. It was on
Yeah,
the
it
top
was like
of
a
his
quick.
head.
It wasn't-
He
it wasn't-
didn't search
yeah.
it. It
Wow.
was
All right.
that he was ready for that.
It's a hockey guy.
Yeah. So I would obviously go 04 TO, 2010 Halliday, 06 Howard.
I agree with 04. I agree with all those.
17 wins.
17 wins. Agreed.
Not last year, Jalen.
Well, I mean, you have to put.
I mean,
your-
17 wins was better, but
Yeah. 01 Iverson.
Owen Iverson. Yeah. And then what Embiid has done the last 2 years. I mean,
But I think like if you look at all those guys, like T.O. 1 year,
1 year.
not like a true Philly athlete. Roy Halladay
2
is
years.
a Blue Jay. Ryan Howard for sure. 06, like that was for sure. But they didn't win anything that year, right?
yeah, but he eventually won. Embiid doesn't win
Did
anything
they
either.
even make the playoffs in 06?
No. 07.
All right, so that kind of ruins that. Like, I think we could be watching the best season we'll ever see from a Philly athlete. When you consider the fact they're gonna be a top like 3 seed or 4 seed, they're gonna win around
in your lifetime. Reggie White had 21 sacks.
No, yeah,
in
okay,
12 games.
yeah. Well, that's like to get back to it. I think Reggie's a great comparison by you
And
because
Carlton won 27 games on a 52-win team.
I don't acknowledge Carlton. I'm sure he's great, but it's just it's not in my wheelhouse. I'm sure
good.
he was phenomenal, but
That's good.
he's a pitcher from forever ago. I don't care. So like, I think Reggie's a great comparison because Reggie was like unbelievable, but ultimately never really won anything here.
Yes.
And I think that's the worry with Embiid.
Yeah. Well, that's my worry with a lot of these guys. That's my worry with now the Eagles, who have.
Well, they've already won something. I mean, they made the Super Bowl.
but this team.
Yeah, this team did make the Super Bowl. Yeah, okay, whatever.
They
But
didn't-
Sirianni hurts. The core of this team made the Super Bowl. You can't say this core of this team didn't win anything.
But if they don't win the title, I think people are gonna look back.
But like the Phillies, like
that's what I'm saying. I'm worried about Bryce not winning a title.
No. But like Bryce has already, in my opinion, Bryce has already done enough to be considered a winner.
Yeah.
Like when he retires, he will be considered a winner, even though he didn't actually win.
Yeah.
Right. Like the Eagles made the Super Bowl. Joel, much like Reggie, has no substantive win
Because
here.
Reggie had
Now, granted, he's won all the time in the playoffs, but he just hasn't. He hasn't won in the second round. He has. I mean, he
won
has,
all the time. Stop. Reggie only won one playoff game here. I believe.
yeah, and it wasn't over the Lions.
No,
I
it was
think?
over the Saints.
Okay.
It was winning for Jerome or bringing home for Jerome.
Okay.
But yeah, so like, but Reggie was so like it's 1 and 2 consensus wise. Like him and LT. It's funny because when I say LT, I think of Tomlinson.
So do I.
And
Yeah,
when I talk to
Yeah,
Ike and John, they get
Lawrence
so
Taylor.
mad.
Yeah.
They get so mad because it's only Lawrence Taylor.
I think Mark should be a Tomlinson guy.
I don't know with Marks. Every day, he's trying.
He strike me as an LT guy.
He can't figure out if he's old school, new school.
I think he actually is genuinely right in the middle.
I think he's right in the middle.
Yeah, which is kind of the worst place to be.
Pick
a side.
I think he's right in the middle of like
have
old
a
and
take.
young.
You have to be old generation or new generation.
Yeah, which do you want to be? You want to be trendy new guy?
I mean, you know how I feel.
I know,
I don't
always
do the
new
old stuff.
But
like
yeah,
Carlton. Like, come on, get out of here.
Yeah, well, listen, 27 wins.
Who's that goalie for the Flyers? Everyone loves.
Bernie Barant.
Yeah, Bernie. Come on, come on. Let's be serious here.
Good history.
Bernie Barant is not a top 50 athlete in the history of the city.
He's got 2 cups.
Is he even really an athlete?
As a goalie?
Yeah, true. I guess, yeah.
It's a different type of athlete, which I've had to explain many times.
Yeah.
But like Embiid does have a little bit of Reggie, where it's like Reggie was unbelievable, but like didn't really win here, and that's why I wonder. That's why this whole conversation of appreciating Embiid, like I wish I didn't feel the way I did, because I know I'm watching the best Sixer I might ever see.
Well, think about this. So I hosted the morning show this morning. You're obviously on 2 to 6 every single day, and then 6 to 7. Like, how much has what Embiid done really come up?
Never.
Yeah, never.
No.
Like, it was like a footnote today from a caller. But like, we're watching historic level of scoring. He scores like 40 plus, like it's nothing. Like he does it in his sleep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I've said. It's like,
right.
Oh,
when Iverson used to get 40, it felt like he was like one of the greatest offensive explosions I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, and now Embiid does it, and it's just kind of like it's like, oh yeah, he did it again. And I know the opponents matter for sure. Like the fact it's the Pistons and the Wizards, like I know that matters. But I just think he's being unfairly punished for past playoff failures.
And I think that can be fair, but also it's hard not to.
I know. Well, I think you genuinely want to enjoy it more, but like
it's just like there's a couple things. One is I usually bet on other Sixers, and I would like him to pass the ball.
Well, he's passing it more than he ever has.
I know, but like I need
Hot seat Jokic. This whole like passing's hard. Embiid was like, I'll just try to pass 1 year and it'll be fine. I'll average like 7 assists.
Speaking of our guy Wilt,
yeah.
I mean the year he led the league in assists, because he said that because people called him a selfish player.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, you're so selfish. He's like, all right, well, I'll go lead the league in assists. That's the year they won the title.
There you go.
He went right
there
back
you go.
to
Maybe
being
passing
Wilt.
is important.
Yeah, he went right back to being Wilt, just trying to score all the time. But yeah, so like with Embiid, like he does this all the time. That's almost like I take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
But I need him to have that playoff moment before I'm like fully appreciating it. But at the same time, I'm gonna look back on this in 10 years and be like, why didn't I? That's how I feel about a lot of the things right now happening in the city. Like a 10-3 Eagles team, I can't stand almost.
Well, that for me, in my opinion, for you is more like take related. I think like the Embiid thing, you genuinely like you can't allow yourself to appreciate it because you know the past playoff failures and like it's early in the season. Like I think there's reasons for that. The Eagles thing with you for sure is because like you feel you're right about this. It's like Carson. Like when I felt I was right about Carson, I would sit in the press box sometimes when he played well, and I'd just be like, ugh.
I actually remember. I remember the Washington game to open the season after you and Julio went on your campaign.
Oh yeah.
And like he threw the 2 touchdowns to Deshaun, and I was like, and you were like, nah, might have been wrong.
yeah.
And then
I remember I wrote an article after he like won those Final 4 games in 2019 to get to the playoffs, and I was like, Carson's finally moved on from the Super Bowl. The next game he got a concussion, and that was that.
Yeah. It was over. Yeah.
So,
well, this is much like Bradford's final 7 games.
Yes, exactly. But Embiid needs it so bad.
He does.
And he deserves it. Like, and it just sucks to have to wait this long. And this is what's frustrating too, is the season's going to come down to like 4 games. Second round, games 4 through 7. And you just have to like hope and pray he's healthy. They get the calls and he plays well. That's really it.
They get the calls.
Yeah, it's true.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with Embiid. It's like I appreciate it. It's unbelievable.
So you agree he's underappreciated right now?
I think also the playoff stuff's fair. I mean, I think
it's fair, but I
don't think people are appreciating how historically great he is right now.
Yes.
And I think there's too much. I think people go overboard with the second round stuff because this is also all time stuff. And like again, I might have to bring this up with Genius tonight.
Okay.
But I mean, his boy Barkley didn't win anything here.
Agree. Yes.
So like, why do you?
Well, they golf. So
I know why he loves Barkley, but like they're essentially the same player except Embiid's better.
Yeah. Embiid's way better. I mean, he is. He's way better. Embiid. I mean, like again, and we've kind of gone in circles here. Embiid can do everything on the basketball court. Mm-hmm. He brings the ball up this year. Like, he plays amazing defense. He can score down low. He has a mid-range. Like, his three-pointer's gotten a little bit better. He's passing now.
Well, he's not shooting the three as much.
No, he's
which
not.
I appreciate. But because it's more.
It hurts me a little, but I can get it.
I'm a big get in the paint guy.
I know. Yeah, you always have.
Always been a big
You know, when you
get
were
in the
ranking the, like, WIP guys last week,
Yeah.
and I said, like, the get in the paint guy, I think another good WIP guy is the explains a scheme guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, calls in and is like, here's what the offense needs to do.
Exactly.
More RPO.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay. That's just because it's one of the terms, you know.
Well, because it worked in 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's what they were good at last year. Yeah. So, yeah. And Embiid, incredible. We get it. I do.
We get it.
We get it. Yada, yada.
yeah. He's so good.
He might win back-to-back MVPs.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, it's unbelievable. I saw a stat today that there's only 2 players that per 100 average 40 points for their career, and it's Michael Jordan and Embiid.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean, Jordan did it in a lot bigger games, but
yeah, he's got some titles. I don't know if you've heard that.
he's got a few.
Well, he also didn't win anything until he was like 29. So maybe it's a maybe
Embiid's got time.
a late-
32.
a late resurgence for Embiid. So I do want to get you on record because you kind of were snarky last podcast, and
Okay.
Since then I believe last night put up 33. Are you on board yet with trading for Bogey?
Trading for who?
Bogey.
Bogey.
Bogdanovich.
Oh no, I'm out on Bogey.
He's great.
No,
No,
I mean, like,
they
look,
might win the title if they trade for him.
it depends what you trade from. Like,
Well, Toby.
yeah, sure, I guess I do.
So I wanted to do a new bit on the pod of a Toby trade a pod to just do it once a podcast.
Once a pod.
Put
I guess I would do Bogdanovich.
Of course.
Yeah.
Imagine him in the
What's his
in the,
contract like?
in the Toby role. Again, we don't worry about contracts. We just
I
trade.
know.
for
Yeah,
it.
exactly. We're just idea people. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, Toby's got to go. It's a shame.
He's
He's got to go.
Although I do appreciate, and maybe Nick Nurse had the same bet I did. He had 19 points in like the first 3 quarters last night. I had him 20 and 25.
Took him out.
For some reason, he put him in with like everyone was out of the game.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, you're right.
It was
yeah.
like it was like
What did he
Furkan,
finish with?
21. He came in
There
and
you
got a
go.
bucket. I was so happy.
Not the 25, though.
Not 25. Sorry though.
You bet 21 plus?
I bet 20 plus, and then I bet
Okay,
25 plus.
Okay.
So, and Bogdanovich, I bet 25 plus, and I bet 30 plus.
And he hit
was
both.
He was plus 950 for 30.
Wow, look at you.
No big deal.
On fire. Yeah, I mean, he'd be awesome here. He can shoot.
He needs.
I mean, he's not like, the only issue with him is he's not like a star. Like,
of course he's not a star.
But he's not carrying you through a playoff.
I don't
game.
need
And
him to carry.
Well, again, comes back to the core question of like, what do you want with this trade? Do you want someone like Levine who can like potentially drop 50, or do you want someone like Bogdanovich who will make the players that they currently have better?
Bogdanovich.
Okay,
Again,
well,
I wouldn't trade Toby for
I know.
Levine.
I know you
You're
would.
talking to the wrong guy.
I know. I don't think the Sixers will either. So there was another report this week that they're interested. I frankly don't buy it. I just don't. Like, Morey has said what he wants in a player, someone who can defend and someone who can be a playmaker on offense. And I know he's a scorer on offense, so in that way he's a playmaker, but he is not someone that passes the ball well.
No, Bogey can do it all.
All right. I like the nickname, too.
Bogey?
Yeah, Bogey. Yeah.
Maxi, Bogey, and Embiid. That's your new big three.
It would be the best big three of Embiid's career, probably.
Yeah, well, listen, it's all good. Maxi's
It's cooled off a
the
little.
3-point shooting's definitely calmed down a
Yeah.
lot.
Well, it was not good in Detroit last night.
No, he's not. Well, that's fine. Like I was selfishly, I wanted other players to score, but I need them to get better about managing Maxi's minutes. So like, I'm fine with like let Embiid go out there and cook.
I mean, Maxi's definitely cooled off.
Yeah,
he's definitely cooled off a little. Now, here's a question: is Maxi like it super matters what he does in the playoffs for his current reputation guy, or if he just has a breakout season, makes All-Star team? Like
second one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I kind of think.
I think
too.
one more year, then it becomes expectations.
I also
because
think,
I don't think people were expecting him to take the kind of leap that he's had so far this year.
Well, I also think there's so much pressure on Embiid that it almost suffocates the pressure from everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it will really only matter for Embiid. And now, if they get rid of Toby, that would help because he has a lot of playoff stink on him too. But like, I think that Maxey is still a year away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Still real expectations.
Yeah.
Couple other things before getting out of here. The Sixers are 11-1 in Oubre games, and the only loss was the first game of the season.
So it's actually 12-0.
Right, because we count that one as a
count
win.
that one as a win.
Moral victory wise.
And I think with Batum,
that's good.
I think they're like 8-0 or something like that.
He's those. I mean,
dude, this is like I don't know if this is a basketball thing, but like he is so fast. Like he shoots and passes the ball. Like when it touches his hand, it comes out of there in like 0.5
he's
seconds.
a winning basketball player.
Yeah, he is. Again, why I'd rather trade Toby than him. Also, did you notice? I guess Morey was talking about core pieces on the team and said Toby, Maxey, Oubre, and Batum, but didn't say Toby.
Oh, so he did not say Toby.
Yeah,
because
Embiid.
he just said that he said Toby.
No, Embiid, Maxey, Batum, and Oubre. I think were the four he said.
Batum's already in there.
Yeah,
Are
I
we-
know. I think they're gonna trade him.
Are they extending him this offseason?
Maybe if he wants to
Because
stay.
I believe he's
I
expired.
can't tell if he would like want to stay.
You don't think so?
I don't know. When he came, no, I know there's personal stuff going, but like he didn't like fully jump into being a Sixer. I mean, he might, but like
That offended
I
you?
didn't get the vibe he was like super pumped to come to Philly.
And one final thing here is I am just the offensive game of Pat Bev has not been terrible.
Well, he had that like 26.
Yeah, 26
or
against the
whatever.
Celtics.
Yeah.
I feel like when he shoots a three, I don't, it's not.
What
awful.
do you think of the beer after the game thing?
Well, I mean, big fan, obviously.
Right.
And it's good to see that a beer still has a place. It's like the post game beer. I thought it was a baseball thing. I thought
I don't disagree.
the post game beer after a win, because a post game beer hits different, man.
I think you're right.
It's a good
you're right.
feeling.
And I think it's like he brings it to the podium, he drinks it.
It's funny.
Cool. Someone think of the kids, but
You'll think of them.
yeah.
Why don't
someone
you
think-
tweet that out?
Yeah.
I don't like Pat.
I'm sure that would go well. Yeah.
I don't like Pat Bev's post game beer
Yeah, yeah.
celebration.
But it is cool. Like
can anyone think of the kids?
it's a very like. Did you see also he tweeted like, "What's one athlete who should have spent his whole career in Philly?" And he said he should have.
Yeah, well, I would argue Bryce. Mr. Philly.
Yeah, Mr. Philly.
Just moved to Knoxville.
When ranking the athletes in the city, does it matter to you that Embiid isn't always been with the Sixers and Bryce has not?
No, because in my
Because Hurts has always been an Eagle, Embiid's always been a Sixer. Bryce came from the Nationals.
but Bryce emotionally has always been a Philly. So
True. Good point.
why don't you factor
Didn't,
that in?
didn't think about that.
Is that an old
Cowboys
lead?
fan, Bryce Harper.
Is that well? He was.
Yeah. Well,
He's seen
it's
some-
not
he-
very clear in the video.
He's seen both sides of the rivalry.
yeah, go Birds.
He's seen both sides. I loved him holding the Cowboys hat. That was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I'm glad Seltzer was in the building and not on TV.
Rough night for Celtics.
Could you-
Surrounded by Cowboys fans as the Eagles get absolutely annihilated. And it's like his worst nightmare.
Do you think you would have tackled the TV? Like just
Yeah.
jumped right through it if you saw
Yeah.
Bryce holding the Cowboys hat?
He'd be.
Is that a 90s Leeds jacket or is that?
It is. Well, it's newly printed, but it's from the 90s.
So how can you, as someone who
Likes old things or hates old
hates
things.
old things and said I don't like movies before 1995 today,
Because
wear an old Leeds jacket?
I like throwbacks.
Well,
From
soccer
growing
jerseys.
up-
Soccer jerseys.
Well, but
in the
even like
90s
when I
were
was growing up,
horrible.
like throwbacks were a big deal. So
throwbacks
I like
to what when you were growing up?
like
the
throwback.
70s?
No, like throwback jerseys. Like when
No,
I was.
they weren't. What are you
You
talking
don't know
about?
what you're talking about right now. Like you are so off with this.
Dude, when we were growing up, throwback jerseys were not a thing.
Okay, maybe not where you went to school or where you lived, but for me, throwbacks were huge. Like Mitchell and Ness was awesome. Like
I think,
throwback
no,
basketball
your problem
jerseys, throwback
is-
baseball jerseys, like even hockey jerseys.
No, it wasn't. They just became big in the last 10
Will
years.
you tell him that throwback jerseys were popular at one point?
They're popular now.
I'm
Dude, are
gonna
you
have
kidding?
to side with
Do-
ESPN
Dude,
on
he's
this
wearing
one.
a 90s shirt right now. It's a 90s Villanova logo.
Do
You're
you don't
wearing
remember
90s.
Fabulous, the rapper?
No.
Okay, see, all right, like his whole thing was
Whoa, Tom, what do you mean you don't remember Fabulous?
Yeah,
the Rapper?
again-
we can back up to that one.
Yeah.
0 for 2.
I
Go on.
feel, I feel like that's.
Well, if I heard
how,
that
old,
song-
how old are you? How old are you?
27.
Okay, so you're 27 too, right?
I'm almost 30.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Regardless, for you to say throwbacks weren't a big deal is just factually
We all were in high school at
incorrect.
the same time. Me and you were in high school at the same time. Throwback jerseys were everything.
Yes,
it's
thank
rare.
you.
Yeah, but you're older.
Dude, I used to remember.
You're older.
I'm older than you guys, but I was like, when throwbacks first started, it was like, that's where I'm just letting you know that, like, the St. Louis Squirrels, I think it was like that orange jersey. Fab used to wear that all the time. Like, everyone in my school.
Vancouver
wore
Grizzlies
throwbacks.
jersey.
Yeah,
all that, all
But
that
that's the
stuff.
90s.
No,
They play in the 90s.
well, he's calling a Vancouver one a throwback.
yeah,
I
because
get,
we're
yeah.
the same age.
No,
I'm saying they're
I
hot
guess.
now. You
No,
are
no, but
older.
throwback
About 10
jersey.
years ago.
Dude, when I was in high school, throwback jersey, you know the amount of money I spent on these jerseys? Like, they were like $250 a piece or something like that. And they're actually more expensive.
You waste money on clothes.
I definitely waste money on clothes.
Yeah, you really do. It's shocking.
For sure.
Yeah, again.
I used to
again,
have a-
Again, we pay you too much here.
Yeah, well.
I'm always looking to keep your salary down.
yeah, I know. Man of the people.
Yeah.
yeah. Throwback jerseys were definitely a big deal.
I just think they're a bigger deal now
I
than,
disagree.
than they were.
I actually
when
think they're a smaller deal now.
Glad you made that clear.
No problem.
Glad you made that clear. All right, that's gonna do it for us. Another just dynamite edition of Clap Your Hands.
stuff.
We will not rest until Tobias Harris
Yes.
is off this basketball team.
Yes.
Either way, we'll be back soon. I think.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
they're gonna keep playing.
hopefully
Who do they play next? Probably like the
what scrub team do they have?
Yeah,
on
I was
this?
gonna say,
What
like-
what terrible team is Embiid?
what
gonna-
non-compelling team could they play? Like
is
the
Embiid gonna
Grizzlies,
score 90
the
against?
Hornets would be a good one for them to play.
It's been a while
The
since
Hornets, you're right.
They play the
Or
Hornets,
the Pistons, then the Hornets.
of course.
Oh,
They're
Pistons
playing
on
like
Friday.
all the like teams that you could group
Ready?
together.
Pistons, Hornets, Bulls, Timberwolves,
Oh my
Raptors,
God.
Heat is the next set.
I mean, Timberwolves
Ooh.
will be good.
Can't wait for the Bulls game so everyone can see how horrible.
You
Levine
you
is.
know
Got-
Levine is dropping like
100%.
35.
Anything to
That's-
make me look horrible.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's all it is.
What were you about to say?
saying?
You got Levine auditions. You got an OG audition.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
Levine's
yeah.
hurt.
OG,
Levine's
that's right.
hurt.
Oh yeah.
Levine's out.
Well, but
Levine is out.
but for how long?
I think he's out for like 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, that's a big deal.
And they're winning
I
without
missed
him,
that.
so they're like keeping him.
Well,
That's a
Kobe
big
White's
deal
Kobe
for the
White's
ch-
been unbelievable.
Yeah. Would you rather trade for Caruso or Levine?
Caruso.
God.
He's a winner.
God.
I don't know. Levine,
Defense.
you could have said almost anyone.
Anybody.
I would rather have than Levine. 215-592.
Yeah.
I don't know why I threw out the phone number. That was strictly out of habit.
Yeah. That was out of habit.
That's gonna do it for this edition of Clap Your Hands. We'll be back soon.
Yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Sixers keep beating
We'll
up
see
on
ya
bad
another
teams.
point.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for hanging out with Eliot and I on another edition of Clap Your Hands.